What moment made you say, yep, I'm definitely dead, but survived with no major injuries? Insane car crash. Sitting stopped at a red light and a woman not watching the road at all, texting, hit me at highway speeds. I was pushed into the crossing traffic that somehow all dodged me. Someone ran up to the car and first question was, oh my god, you're alive? And I answered honestly, I'm not sure. I couldn't open my door but climbed out the window. The entire back of the car was collapsed in. My sister was hit by a red light runner and her car was so bad that one of the imps told her when they first saw it they thought, oh man, someone died. Yeah, that's what the tow truck guys said to me too about my wreck. I'm glad she was okay. Tow truck. Someone needs to start a mobile pedicure business called the tow truck. It needs to be an actual tow truck too for the company car. That'll confuse the shit out of everyone. It'll be hilarious. With a tow hook that looks like a toe. A tow hook. Once as a kid I was in the backyard swimming while my family was nearby eating dinner at a round table. Most had their backs to me, but I was like 11 and an experienced swimmer. I got into a toddler's float with leg holes. It ended up flipping over and I was stuck in it. My legs wouldn't come out of the leg holes. I kicked and thrashed as much as I could, but I was so stuck. And you can't hear someone screaming underwater. So many thoughts ran through my head, mostly how sad I was that my parents were about to find me dead in a matter of minutes and how they'd never forgive themselves for allowing me to silently drown as they talked with friends. I tried one more time to kick with all of my might. One leg slipped out and I was able to get the other out after. I was fine. Totally ducking spooked, but physically okay. Did you tell them what happened? I have a similar story. I was single-digit age and for some reason I removed my life jacket while on our family's boat with my parents. I was attempting to sit on the little board that sticks off the back for climbing onto when I toppled off into the water. I was still in swimming classes at the time and couldn't do much but doggy paddle. I was bobbing up and down in the water and I couldn't get enough air to scream in between coming up for air. I was little and got panicked and tired really quickly and began to sink, one surfacing at a time, until I couldn't surface anymore and realized it completely. I thought about my parents on the boat who didn't know I was gone and wondered when they'd realize I was missing and if they'd find me. A big gray fish swam by and I saw my mom dive in just as everything went dark. I woke up on the boat in a towel. I ran out of the pool and told them, but I feel like they didn't take me all that seriously since I was just a kid talking a mile a minute. They probably thought I was being dramatic. Near drowning experiences are absolutely horrifying. I'm sorry that happened to you. I think what's scariest is that I had been swimming since the age of 4. My parents thought I was safe. They did all the right things. But I was still a kid that did a stupid thing and my swimming skills didn't make a difference here. I just remember feeling so hopeless, and in these situations 30 seconds feels like an eternity. You can never be too careful. I almost drowned in a river by my house as a young kid, surrounded by other kids and adults. I told my mom and her friend, they brushed it off basically. Why people do that, it has always stuck with me and I can't swim in dark water ever since. I was driving home from college on one of those highways with only one lane in either direction and no shoulder. A guy in the oncoming lane didn't see me as I was in a small car. He thought he could pass 4 18-wheelers in one go and pulled into my lane going at least 90. There was nowhere for me to go. He flew off into the ditch to avoid hitting me head on, likely did severe damage to his car, but I lived. For me, this is the scariest possible thing about driving. I can drive as well as I like, I can be as cautious as I want, I can go as slow as I want. Some idiot could still come flying out onto my side of the road going the wrong way and wipe me out, just like that. Happened to a family near where I grew up a couple years back. Some dude got messed up on drugs or something and started driving the wrong way down a highway just like this. He hit the family head on and they all died. He lived, though, as far as I can remember. Edit, thank you for those of you sharing your stories and experiences with this. It's truly astonishing how much this happens. Those of you suggesting I might drive too cautiously or be living too afraid, I don't and am not, don't worry, smile. I advocate driving defensively and sensibly. Ensure your speed is appropriate for the conditions on the road. Been driving some years and been in 2 accidents myself, both zero fault on my side. Be sensible and good luck on the roads to you. I was driving on a main road and I guess someone wanted to left turn onto a side street so much that they just pulled out of their lane and drove down the wrong side of the road past several streets, speeding, coming directly for me, and I legit had nowhere to go but QA. So many cars were parked in front of houses, so I couldn't even pull over. I just stopped and held my breath until they turned left. It wouldn't have been the most high-impact crash, they were going like 45 in a 25, but duck, it was scary how deliberate it was. Like they chose to drive the wrong way to find this side street. A few days ago I saw someone just about miss their exit on a motorway where everyone was doing 120 kph 70 mph. Slammed on their brakes, reversed about 50 feet, indicated and took the exit. All of a sudden there are cars everywhere trying to not cause a pileup. I wonder if they're just an idiot or are malicious too. My dad has a friend who started to do that as his mind degraded. It was terrifying. Thankfully they took his license away, the guy's in an assisted living facility now. I was drunk and running in the woods when bam, barbed wire fence straight to the throat. The last thing I remember, I couldn't breathe and was passing out and there was blood squirting from my neck. Woke up an hour later and walked home looking like a murder victim. My dad once took some barbed wire to the throat too. It happened before I was born and I can't remember all the details, but I do remember my mom recounting how he showed back up at the house with blood running down his body. Mom couldn't handle it and left the room. To be fair, she was only like 18 at the time. Thankfully, her mom was around and leapt in to help. I did this playing capture the flag in the woods at dusk, ran full speed into a single barbed wire at stomach level and came to a complete, arms and legs forward, wrapped around it stop. Friend said it looked like God had just reached down and stopped me. Was terrified to lift my shirt and look, I was convinced I was disemboweled. Turns out all I had was one shallow puncture wound and an angry red line across my stomach. And a bruise from hell the next day. Had a paintball fight on Christmas morning with two cousins and their neighbor kid at around 13 years old with our brand new guns we got as gifts. The neighbor got mad, ran home, came back with a shotgun, and pointed at my face. All I remember is looking at the ground and waiting to die. Edit, the kid was 11 to 12. He did have his own paintball gun, and had already shot me a couple times before I got him. He was my cousin's neighbor. I think it was the first time I ever met him. It was 20-ish years ago, as I'm 33 now, so I can't even remember if I told my parents. I don't know if anything happened to him or not. I'll ask my cousin. Edit 2, cousin said we never told parents. Maybe we were scared of retaliation. I know I never touched that paintball gun again though. That's ducked up. I ate one of those Brax oval-shaped hard candies, think they were called sparklets, at home alone when I was 6. Got stuck in my throat. I stood there in shock for a few seconds as I started to realize I couldn't breathe. I ran crazily around the room and ended up colliding hard into the back of the couch, which caused the candy to go flying out. Best accidental Heimlich ever. Typo edit. My brother had a full blockage from a sour warhead at about 9 years of age. I was the only other one home, on the computer. He bursts in with a purple face, gestures wildly at his throat and then continues his panic circuit around the house. Chased him down, threw him chest first against the kitchen sink and struck him as hard as I could across the back. Candy went flying out, and I released the breath I didn't realize I was holding. What I did in panic was actually close to textbook first aid for a choking victim. The way you put it made it sound like you broke his entire ribcage. Better than death. If you're doing CPR right, there's a good chance you'll crack a rib, but broken can be fixed. Dead is mostly permanent. Edit, if you ever get the chance, please take a first aid course. In getting flooded with lots of great details and better info. Even if you don't keep your certification active, what sticks with you can save a life. Edit 2, not a witch doctor. Edit 3, clarifying that CPR and Heimlich are not the same, and you shouldn't perform CPR on someone actively choking. And now my inbox is mostly dead. I had leg cramp and a momentary blackout when swimming in a diving pool when I was 16. I was really active that I overexert my limit. Surprisingly, I didn't really panic. Just the dreadful thought, oh shit, I'm ducked. Funny thing is that I didn't really wingle my hands out of the pool panickingly like I usually see in the TV, just silently sinking. Good thing the pool guard on duty noticed me and went for my rescue by pulling me out. Really wish I thanked the guard more that he saved me instead of me cluelessly sitting outside the lobby after the accident. The thing is, very rarely do people flail their hands in panic when they drown. Usually they just stay still with their mouth and nose submerged underwater. What you want to look for is not the panic, but the responsiveness. Hi, just to add to this, I used to be a lifeguard, and one of the main things I learned is that this is 100% true. Over the course of 2 years, I have 13 saves and only 1 to 2 flailed their arms. I had someone swimming laps for 3+ hours start drowning because of a leg cramp. They had swam in front of me for both years I worked there for hours, but the leg cramp took them out. Also, most saves came from clueless parents. I had one kid look me dead in the eye, jump into the deep end, 16 feet, and take his life jacket off. He was 2, couldn't swim, and his mom had taken him to the pool, left him there, and was going to come get him later. Also, a little fun fact, if there are 2 diving boards, and 1 lifeguard watching, and neither you or the person on the other diving board can swim, please, and I mean please, go one at a time. I still have a scar from where 2 little kids jumped at the same time, and when I got to one, the first instinct is to get out of the water, so they climb you. So I got climbed by a 6-year-old girl, who wrapped her body around half my face and trapped an arm against my side. And then I got to her 9-year-old brother, also drowning, who wrapped his legs around one of mine, trapped my other arm, and wrapped his body around my now blocked face. If their parents were paying attention, maybe I wouldn't have a scar on my back from where one of them gouged their fingernails into it trying to escape. Be safe with water and watch your kids, people. Someone left their kid at the pool alone? Yes, the pool I worked had some people come in from a more poor area. We had a big kids area where the water was no more than 4 feet deep, and it was not uncommon for people to drop their kids off, since it was $10 at the gate, and all lifeguards would take care of someone in an emergency. Some people used us as a cheap babysitter while they worked. Most of the time, kids who would start drowning were people like that.